Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem, B'Kakardash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone, preaching this word truthfully and sincerely. Shalom to the Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim that be like unto the speckled bird, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And I say shalom to you Akim out there. And this is a quick sit-down lesson and a news update of wars and rumors of wars, nations rising against nations. It's increasing. And this is a news article from RT.com on September the 2nd, 2022. World news, alternative world news around the world. And the highlight of this news article, and it reads, for today in the news on September 2nd, 2022. And it reads, North Korea threatens with Maximus responds to next nuke test. A top South Korean security advisor said Washington and Tokyo have agreed to a different response compared to the previous tests. The United States and South Korea and Japan have vowed to maximize their response to North Korea's next nuclear test, according to a senior security official on Seoul. A man repeated prediction that Pyongyang is preparing for another trial. Speaking to the reporters following a high-level meeting between Seoul, Washington, and Tokyo on Thursday, South Korea's top security advisor Kim Song-han said another North Korean nuclear test would prompt a stern reaction from the three allies. We agree that must not be naive thinking or reaction that North Korea has conducted 6 nuclear tests and that a new test will be one more, he said, adding should North Korea conduct its 7 nuclear tests, our reaction will certainly be different from those until now. The comments follow a sit-down in Honolulu, Hawaii, involving Kim and U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan. It says, and their Japanese counterpart, Taeko Abapra, a White House read out on the meeting, said the 3 officials discussed protecting and advancing the rules based on international order and condemning the North Korea continued developing of its ballistic missiles and weapons of mass destruction programs among the other things, Slovakia. It says, however, the security officials did not elaborate on what additional steps would be taken in reactions to Pyongyang's next test, with Kim only stating the response will be maximized in an attempt to convince North Korea it was the wrong decision. While Pyongyang's most recent atomic test, the 6th in its territory, was carried out in September of 2017, officials in the U.S. and South Korea have claimed the country has completed all preparations for another nuclear trial, and it's merely waiting for the right moment, according to Seoul's former intelligence chief Park Ji-won, that would become as soon as November. A ahead of the midterm elections in the U.S. they are going to do in order to demonstrate that their missile can fly to the U.S. carrier and miniaturize a lower warhead. A lighter warhead, and to deal a blow to the Joe Biden administration's Park claimed during a radio interview last month. North Korea has not announced plans to test, but recently vows to advance development of its nuclear arsenal at the fast possibility speed and warned that the nuclear war deterrent is fully ready to respond to any threat. The three-way meeting in Hawaii on Thursday came as the United States and South Korea completed their latest rounds of large-scale missile drills, which Pyongyang has repeatedly condemned in provocative, seeing them as a rehearsal for an invasion. So yeah, as you know, North Korea threatens a maximum of a response to the nuke test. So there goes the wars and rumors of wars are definitely increasing, and I'm about to bring out descriptions for that. Yeah, these wars and rumors of wars are definitely heating up. It's just only getting more closer and closer to of that war. Revelations 11:14 coming very soon, because we see continued increased steps of it on an everyday basis. Matthews 24:6, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Luke 21:9. And this is the book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 9. But when ye shall hear of wars and commotions, be not terrified, for these things must first come to pass, but the end is not by and by, right? Because it's more prophecies are coming, and more signs of it is coming this way too, which is recorded Revelation 14. And that Karagma, which is recorded in reference to Revelations 13, verse 16 through all the way to verse 18. So that's why it's the end is not yet, because more prophecies still need to be fulfilled and come to pass. Just like the famine of the word, the hour of temptation with the Karagma, and the Revelations 11:14, the second one was past, behold, the third one coming quickly, because we're definitely increasingly living in that time of Revelations 11:14, as it's starting to build up and increase with these nations going against one another, as North Korea made that more maximum threat to South Korea and Japan and the United States combined, And according to the South Korean spokesperson, it was saying very soon North Korea was going to launch its 7 missile tests. And that's ICBM nuclear missiles. They haven't launched one of those since 2017. So now they starting back in the process of testing the ICBM missiles, the intercontinental ballistic missiles, as well too, and weapons of mass destruction. So yeah, these and you heard it from according to reports of senior officials, has stated that I believe there's a high-level meeting between South Korea and the United States and Japan combined. they held a high important meeting, which is on Thursday, and they said they're gonna do, you know, once if the report is true, and if it is confirmed as being true, according to senior officials, about North Korea is going to launch their 7th missile test, which is the ICBM intercontinental ballistic missile test, and the response from Japan, South Korea, and the United States. They said they're going to come with a bigger, stronger response more than ever. So yeah, hey man, these wars and rumors of wars are definitely heating up. And it's gonna continue to increase. As I brought out Matthew's 24:6. Yeah, that that wars and rumors of wars, heating up. And Matthew's 24:7. For nation shall rise against nations, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. Right? Because we see the earthquakes in diverse places, magnitudes of number of earthquakes increasing. The pestilence, the famines increasing, etc. But the main focus is, the wars and rumors of wars are increasing. High tensions are increasing between North Korea versus Japan, South Korea, and the United States as well too. But North Korea, they got allies as well too. Potentially China and Iran and Russia as well too. As you got the allegiance of Japan, South Korea, and the United States. And you already know North Korea and South Korea can't get along with each other, especially China and the United States, and Iran and the United States can't get along with each other, or Iran and Israel, because I believe not too long ago I did a video on about the representation president of Japan and Israel. They saying a cooperation defense pact deal for security and stability between the two nations, and have that good, strong security defense pact alliance. So you can add them along with that as well too. Because you got Iran and Israel, they don't get along with each other, and in the United States and Iran, they can't stand one another. So these wars and rumors of wars, and nations rising up against nations, and it's increasing now more than ever. So with that, I hope this lesson was edifying through the spirit, power, grace, and mercy of Yahweh Yahushua. And first and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahushua Ba'ashem, Makakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, a great millstone, preaching his word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim that be like unto the speckled bird, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And until next time, I will say shalom and above all.